Welcome to Backstage with John Wilson, a podcast where we go behind the scenes to look at the Christian contemporary music industry, music festivals, and real-life encouraging stories from our experience. Our goal is to display how God is using Christian music to transform lives and to take church outside the walls. For more info about Light the Way Ministry, go to lightthewayministry.com. And with that, here's this week's episode.
Well, hey, welcome to another episode of Backstage with John. I'm your host. Super excited for this show today. Obviously, you can see who's with me. Will you all please help me welcome my friend, my brother, KB. What is going on, my friend?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me, my brother. And it goes well by God's grace.
Awesome. It looks like you're in a recording studio today. Are you laying some tracks down?
Yes. Yep. That's my 9 to 5. So I'm in here doing my thing and hoping the Lord would bless these efforts.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today. We're super excited. We've had the privilege of having you at multiple Light the Way music festivals, different events. We've had you at a college event a couple years back at SBU in Bolivar. Man, you really know how to put on a show. And for maybe some of you who are watching has not been to a KB show, let me just tell you, maybe you're thinking about hitting the gym, right? And you just haven't had that. All you need to do is come to a KB show, and you've put in a year's worth of gym workout just at one of his shows.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I'm for real. Like you sweating, like for folks who never been to a KB show, tell us what you can expect. I mean, obviously workout, that's crazy, but tell me a little bit about what people can expect from a KB show.
Yeah, so we do like to try to keep it vivacious and full of energy, and let our kind of movement on stage reflect the fervor in which we are going after the gospel. So it will there might be a little worshiping and moshing going together. But I think I hope what people are able to walk away with from my concerts is not simply what you might be able to get at a Travis Scott concert in terms of energy, but they can walk away with a deeper affection for the things of God, and more clarity of who they are, more inspired to go after the purpose for which I got on stage, which was to bring people to God and bring God to people. So yeah, that's what my shows have always been, as long as I can remember. I like to think they're a little more professional and refined now than they were when I was back in the day preaching for 40 minutes and then rapping and turning the song off and preaching some more. And then, I like to think it's more packaged, but it's the same thing. It's the same goal, the same heart and intention for the live KB show.
Awesome. Well, so let me ask you this, what what is it like in KB's life outside of being on stage? Like what are talk a little bit about your family, kind of maybe even some of your goals, and what keeps you going every single day so that whenever you come out on that stage, because I know you give it all you got. I've seen your shows, you give it all you got on the stage, but there's got to be something behind that that keeps you going. And is it family? Talk a little bit about your life there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem, bro. I am a father and a husband, a friend, and a minister of the gospel. And those are my primary identities. So I spend much more time trying to love Jesus as a father and a husband, as a local minister, and as a friend. And also, another identity there I'm a son as well to a mother who, up until recently, has lived with me, and So we've wanted to be careful about how we serve her and empower her in one of the most challenging parts of her life. All of those things um, are it's a theater that my Christian walk is lived out. It's not Instagram and being on stage or festivals or anything like that. Those things are moments that are well lit and well mic'd and well attended. But that isn't even close to the whole of who I am. So those are the ways in which in those areas, and those through those identities, the things that you would imagine for anyone trying to love Jesus and be a good husband, those are the things that I'm given to. Same thing with being a father. Same thing with being a local minister. Same thing with being a son. Those are my greatest challenges and my greatest joys.
Mm, that's so good. So good. So you got a family, you got kids. How many kids you got?
I got three, a
Oh,
little
wow.
girl and two boys.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I bet
Uh-huh.
that girl's the favorite.
Oh, I mean, well, she is. She definitely she believes she is.
Awesome. Well, I remember running into you at Winter Jam just this last year when you're in Springfield. You're just kind of hanging out backstage and on the side stage, getting ready to go up. And I had the honor to go up and talk about the festival here in Missouri at Thunder
Yep.
Ridge
Yep.
right before you went up. And so I had to tell my friends, like, look, I got to open up for KB today.
Nice. Nice.
Uh,
Nice.
but
That's
so
dope.
you're in a studio, you're putting down some tracks. One of the things I wanted to ask you is when you have an idea for a song, right? Who's the first person that you probably text or call maybe to kind of bounce the ideas off or obviously you've got some probably some people that you surround yourself around that you can go to and things like that. So like who would you say that first person is that you when you get that download you're like I got a text, who is that person for you?
So I don't always have that person. A lot of times, I mean, I'm writing and recording typically alone, and so I I I oftentimes try to sit with what it is I'm creating and let it impact me. I've had you know, powerful times in the presence of God, writing a song, alone in my studio and just tearful, just, worshipful experiences where I kind of feel like the first person I'm kind of bouncing this off of is myself. And I'm seeing how it resonates with me, and I think from there, uh because sometimes I've already received the idea or the production, and then I go and have the where I craft it into my own, or I put my idea to a beat or something like that, and then once I've sort of been solidified in it, then I sort of start to invite my co-producers and co-writers and stuff like that into shaping it out, trying to help them I'm hoping that they can help me bring to life what I'm hearing in my head and my heart. And so that's typically the process for me.
Okay, that's awesome. What about like where does the inspiration of some of your lyrics come from? Like, is it through your daily grind of what you're facing with at that time, or just, I mean, do you look at what others are going through or hear stories like where's the inspiration of some of your lyrics from your music come from?
I think for me, it's largely stories of that as I'm experiencing life around people, as I'm reading a great deal and paying attention to how folks are experiencing the world in various places, and then the stories of my own life, and and then within that kind of arena, my walk with God, what I feel like the Lord is pressing on my heart, all of that becomes the kind of the well that I pull from when I'm creating songs. So it's living life, and being aware of how other people are living life, and then God walking with me right now in my past and my hopes for my future that kind of come together to create records for me.
Wow. Wow. So you're not only a performer, you bring the heat, you bring the word, you're out there preaching, and that probably it didn't start out that way. I don't think. Talk to me a little bit about when you got that call. Like I need to start preaching now too. Because even out of that, you wrote a book that we're going to talk about here in a little bit too. But what is that transition like? Because you're in both worlds essentially. You're a speaker now, and you're an author, and you're an artist. So how does that all come together?
Well, I think, for me, it's important for me that my identity, unless the Lord forces it another direction, but that my identity is that I'm a local minister. So I'm not your keynote guy. Even though I have friends whose ministries that I support, and some of them have large ministries that I'll go preach at from time to time. But for the most part, most of my preaching is done at family worship with my family on Sunday mornings. It's on my patio. It's at Chipotle. It may be on a stage at a local church. Um, I've always been that. When I got saved at 16 years old, uh, I I don't know. It's just what flowed out of me. We would be gathering with dudes. I would be discipling folks probably a year or two later, and it just involved explaining the apostles' teaching to people and trying to understand the apostles' teaching, gathering around the apostles' teaching, and so that flows naturally uh, uh, out of who I am, way more than rapping does. It's much more difficult for me to be a artist than it is for me to just be a local minister. So I'm, it doesn't feel like it's a mode for me. It just sort of is the integrated person that as I am an integrated minister of the gospel slash rapper slash podcaster slash other stuff, and it just where I'm at, I do it. But I do try pretty hard. There might be even some frustrations from booking agents, maybe. No, not my current booking agent, but no, no, I've always had good booking agents. But I'm just saying there might be some, like, you could go. They want you to go do, and I do try pretty hard to resist being the itinerant, conference guy. So I do say no a lot.
Uh,
But every now and then I'll pop out.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
tell you, man, it's I talk about your shows because they're so unique in their own way. Because again, you get high energy, you get worship, and then you get the word,
Mhm.
and you relate to a whole nother demographic of people that could be walking in a really tough time. And our audience as well too. There's so many of them, some believers, some not believers, some on the fence, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If someone is watching this today and they're one of those people that's maybe struggling, or they may be on the fence on not thinking this Christian thing, it's too religious for me. I can't, because that was my story, and I don't want to be a part of that. What would you say to that person who's watching this right now, maybe on our YouTube channel or whatnot, that's just stumbled over this, and they see you, they're hearing you, but what would you say to that person who may be on that fence, maybe struggling? What would you say to them?
Well, number one, I would say don't. I'd encourage you not to see this as random. That you're listening to this right now directly at the moment that you're struggling. That if God wanted to speak to you and get your attention or give you something that could that could change you, um, how would He do it? And He probably would send a video like this, where you are hanging out, whether it's with the algorithm on YouTube or Instagram, whatever it may be. Um, Things feel random, but you know in your heart that uh, randomness is not really the way the world is created. God allows in His sovereignty, in a very, like, harmonious way, like, to bring your story to this very moment. Um, There could be all kinds of other spaces, places that you could be right now, but you're not. You're right here. So consider if God might have something for you, that you've listened this far and you're listening to this part of the, or that you're watching this at all. Second thing that I would say is that if it is, and I'm assuming that God has intention for you being with us right now, I would, one of the ironies, one of the, I think is one of the fly things that God does in scripture is that he does things that are poetic in his dealings with us. One of those poetic things that he does is that though you might be very far from God, that might be a fact. Scripture reminds us that God is never far from you, though. You may be far, but he is not. And I love that you can take many steps away from God, and we have all been there. But the return is only a single step, and that single step is God, help me, please. If you give yourself to calling on the God who is near, though you have strayed, he has not. He will meet you. I have seen it in my own life. I've seen the story over and over again. He is too good to cast out the sincerely repentant. That's his nature. So I just would encourage you, don't even got to get super theological and verbose. You don't need to go put a suit on and talk to God. You don't need to clean up. You just need to fall before him and surrender and let the Lord begin to put the pieces of your life back together from that place.
That's so good. That's you, and you're so right because some people that are outside looking in, they feel like they have to look different, have that suit on or whatever to even go to church or to
Right.
pray. And
Uh-huh.
honestly, God wants you who you are. He's created you. He knows everything about you. You don't need to put on a persona, if you will,
Right.
to be in that arena. Just be who you are, you know. And so appreciate you sharing that. Hopefully, someone that's watching this kind of gets that inspiration, and really takes that step
Mm.
to really understand that you don't have to be somebody you're not to be
Yes.
able to talk to Jesus and have a
Yes.
relationship with Jesus. And
Yes.
it's so powerful. I want to talk about your book because the title of it, we're talking about how wonderful and great Jesus is, but your title is Dangerous Jesus. Like,
Yep. Yep.
talk to me a little bit about that. Yeah, what's in this book and why did you title it that way and what was the goal of that?
Yeah. So it's entitled Dangerous Jesus to speak to how disruptive Jesus can be. And largely disruptive to the plans of the enemy. If you think about like in the way that a athlete might be dangerous, you know what I'm saying? Like that means that he is a threat to the opposition. And and in the book, what I'm doing is I'm showing how Jesus doesn't fit into anybody's boxes. He doesn't align with anybody's agenda except the agenda of his father. And what that means is that when he shows up, there's always tables being flipped, and it doesn't need to be violent, like binding up cords and running people out. But he does not fit well with your politics. Jesus is redeeming your politics. He does not fit well with your traditions. He's redeeming your traditions. He does not fit well with the ways that you imagine that he would be. He is redeeming your imagination. And the book is me going through all the ways in which Jesus is a threat to the things that threaten us. But I'm a rapper, so there's a double entendre there that if you do not allow Jesus to be who he is, which is the redeemer and the refiner and the one that flips tables in the various areas of our lives, if you try to peddle a Jesus that looks more like you or like your favorite politician or your favorite celebrity, if you do that, then that Jesus becomes dangerous to you and people around you because it's a false Jesus. And I'm walking through that throughout the whole through several chapters in different areas.
Wow. So in this book, I mean, obviously it's available right now on your website.
Hmm.
I strongly encourage everyone to go check it out, get you a copy, read it, and then give it to someone else to read. You know, that's kind of my philosophy on that. How do you, as an artist, being in this music industry, which we both know, I've been in it for 20 years. I'm sure you've been in it for just about the same amount. How do you stay grounded in in the gospel? How do you stay grounded in your faith? Because let's just say it, being in this Christian music industry, it's not a bed of roses all the time. It's a
Right,
struggle. It's a struggle. There's
right,
people we encounter that may be in the industry that may not be a believer, you know.
right.
What is it for you that keeps you grounded in that faith and keeps you going um, uh, in your ministry?
I think the main thing is that the biggest identity that I have is not in um my artistry. So
Mm,
like I have goals that I'm trying to that I'm going after. And at the top of that list of goals is that I want to be um I want to retire as a whole actual Christian who isn't dependent on the praises of people. I don't need to be the man to know who I am. That's not how, I hope that I am becoming more human, not less human, as my platform expands. Humans don't or weren't made to be absorbing glory, and they weren't made to spend their lives just interacting with the general public as the a star. Uh, that is damaging for you. And so I won't get into all the details, but I do a lot, even with the small platform that I have, to make sure that the light. My friend put it like this: that the light that is in me is always greater than the light that is on me, and that doesn't happen by just saying it. You have to cultivate the light that's in you, and that is at the top of my list of goals. And I think that if those goals don't change, at the very least, I'll be okay.
mm. Wow, that's so powerful. The light in us is what we want to radiate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that is so good, so good. Well, gosh, I can't believe the time already has gone so fast. Here's the thing, KB, you're an amazing man. God shines through you in and off the stage. I've seen so many backstage opportunities where I'm seeing you praying for people, and I
Mm,
see you pray for people on stage. You don't need the spotlight. And it's inspiring. It's inspiring for me as a promoter, and I hope that it's
mm.
inspiring to you to know
Wow.
that we watch this, we see
Wow.
this, and I just want to say any encouragement whatsoever. I just want to tell you, my friend, don't stop.
Mm,
Don't stop doing that, because if I'm seeing, I know God's seeing it, and
mm.
I know, I'm sure for you, for me, when I get to heaven, I want my God to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant,"
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
and it's encouraging to see the behind the scenes. I have that honor and that privilege to do that in this role, and you're a true witness for the kingdom, and that's why
Mm.
we keep bringing you back. That's why we keep trying to stay and connect with you, because it's addicting. It really is, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's
So.
awesome. That's
Well,
awesome.
we've got you at two festivals this year. Starting on in June or July 19th up in Fort Wayne, Indiana for
Yes, sir.
Starfest. It's your first time, I think, being at that festival. It's our first festival as well too. So what better way to have you closing out the night up there?
Let's do it.
I'm like, get ready, Fort Wayne. You don't know what's about to hit you.
That's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great time up there. And then also, we've got you at our Missouri Festival, which is not your first time at our festival in Missouri, but it will be your first time as well as our first time at Thunder Ridge Nature Arena, which is built by the owner of Bass Pro,
Oh,
Johnny
nice.
Morris. And let me tell you, KB, this venue is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the largest venues, 20,000, I think, outdoor amphitheater. It's just so
Man.
beautiful, and I cannot wait to see you on that stage and just bring in what God brings to you in your heart, and we get the be the benefits of that. So both of these festivals are on our website. You can get your tickets there at lightthewayministry.com for either Starfest or for here September 12th or 13th at Thunder Ridge. You're touring a lot. You got a lot of dates coming up. Maybe tell the listeners where they can find you, how they can follow you, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you can go to whoiskb.com, and there's a hundred ways that we can connect.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, definitely go to that whoiskb.com or lightthewayministry.com as well. Check them out. Go get the book. The book is amazing. Dangerous Jesus. And KB, again, thank you for your time today. It's really an honor to be able to have you on the show. And again, I can't wait. We're going to rock the summer out. It's going to be a fire.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of
And
course.
again, go to lightthewayministry.com. Check out all the shows, check out all the festivals, and whoiskb.com as well. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.